shelters. Jabalpur, we have not forgotten Jabalpur earthquake, but it ranks 7th in the list of smart cities, lies in the Vindhya and Satpura ranges, and is highly earthquake prone. Mind you, the earthquake of magnitude 6 on Richter scale, which occurred in 1997, we have not forgotten yet. And that area is prone to much higher levels of earthquake. Similarly, Pune. Now, Mr. Chairman, I know that before you say that my time is up, I must like to wind up by saying, therefore, what challenges we face is a question of facing the challenges squarely. Now, 12th five-year plan proves that the roads in smart cities are disaster safe and sustainable. You have to prove every smart city project which is cleared. I think there has to be testimony to that it is safe that disaster management has been integrated with development planning of smart cities, and that it is safe, and the focus should shift from disaster relief-centric approach to disaster mitigation. We have to provide reliable tools of hazard, vulnerability, and risk. We talk about all these things. And I can tell you, we are past masters. We've been talking about 20, 25 years on this. But if you go a little deeper and found how these hazards has been mapped, somebody says it's earthquake hazard, flood hazard. On a small scale, fine, for planning commission level. But large scale, these maps are not trustworthy. So if the hazard map is not trustworthy, vulnerability is not known, how do you calculate risk and how do you design? And this is a hard question that you'd ask. The second one, disaster prevention and emergency management planning for highway system. You see, we have these plans. NDMA drafts the plans for relief, rescue, response, NDRF, and so on. I think time has come when highway engineers will upfront have to recognize if the subject is own, right, and have a plan that in a smart city, if a disaster takes place, how are you going to manage your highway system? And that would provide a big relief at the national level. Minimize technology-induced disasters. You know, now in the race for smartness, we are thinking of kind of technologies which have never been tried before. Machines are talking to machines. And sometimes when the failure is there, as in this case, this computer did not work when you were making presentation, where smart cities, we are talking in a big way, machines coming and taking over. So what is going to be the, to our telecommunication network? I read in the papers while traveling in the plane yesterday that cars are going to talk to each other, and there will be driverless cars and all that. This is already, in another 5 years, you are going to see them on the road. So it's fine, but in our context, how this works, that is also a big challenge that we have to see. Networking and multi-institutional coordination. I was telling to somebody in the morning that if you go and see road construction in China, when the road construction takes place, your sewer lines, electricity, cables, everything, all agencies work together. And when the road is finished, thereafter, no tampering with the road system. Now, this is a recipe to disaster, that you construct a road and 10 months after that, somebody comes and digs it up for sewer line, then somebody for repair of the pipes and so on. So networking and multi-institutional coordination is important. Prior history of the disaster, you see, most of these disaster-prone smart cities, I've spoken to the people. Many of them are excellent architects and engineers, but very few are aware of the history. And it's not their fault, because they have their own job to do. Somebody will have to think with them and see that every smart city has a history of disasters. And a lot of lessons to learn. We have to really put that to practice. We have to re-engineer highway engineering education. You see the curriculum of what is being taught. It's more or less on the same lines, 10 years, 15 years, it's not changed. So if our problems have changed, our priorities have changed, and challenges are more complex, why is it not that education is keeping pace with it? We have to change this. We have to have the scientific culture of research and development. Now, institutions like Central Road Research Institute and all that, they have to come here in a big way and tell the highway engineers that what is latest in research. Otherwise, we don't benefit from that. And even wonderful piece of research done in the laboratories will have absolutely no use if that doesn't reach to highway engineers. We have to strengthen public-private sector partnerships, national capacity and training. You see, all of us have not the privilege of going to best of the schools, but we are doing good job in our own areas. I think training and retraining and human resource should become an important part of this. And finally, Mr. Chairman, the techno-legal regime, we should have zero tolerance for this, because what I find is illegal constructions, water bodies being covered, and most of the designs which are there, they do not recognize any of those changes. So unless we take on board all those sensitivities, I think the challenges in highway engineering, we will never be able to make the mark. But at the same time, if we trust in our strengths, our capacity, and the best of the problems any country can offer, believe me that no country has got such challenges and such complexities of problem as India has. Individually, we are quite competent people. I think let there be an orchestra play. We are individual players. Let's play orchestra. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bhandari, for very lucidly cautioning us on the importance of having a holistic approach to engineering design in all spheres. You are right, because engineers are dealing with the forces of Mother Nature, and no matter how well we try, we find nature is always 2 steps ahead of us. But that makes it all the more necessary that we intensify our efforts to see that our structures are safe. And not only smart cities, but the unsmart cities also, I believe, deserve the same kind of safety aspect. I personally haven't been able to understand what a smart city really means. But well, you can't deny that the challenges of safety-related things, disaster-related things, they are enormous. And the huge spectrum of the geological, the climatical, and all the other varieties that we have in a country like India, the spectrum is so huge that it makes our work all the more challenging. So thank you, Dr. Bhandari, for your talk. Paper number 2, would the first author like to continue with your thing, sir? Later? Okay. All right.
Some introduction about sir.
All right. So, gentlemen, now we come to the next paper, which is ITS in regional transportation with PPP model towards smart cities by Mr. Sutom Suboi. Sir, I don't know if you have pronounced it correctly, but that's what has been given to me. Thank you.
With the permission of the chair, I would like to once again clarify that the road sector's presentations are taking place in the Hall 1B, that is this hall. And for the convenience of delegates, we segregated the bridges and highways differently. And the bridges are taking place in Hall 1A. If anybody who is interested in highway engineering and waiting for the presentation of papers, if they are there in the Hall 1A, kindly I request all of you inform your friends, colleagues, and other delegates. Now, coming to the paper presentation. Now, paper is it's regional in ITS in regional transportation with PPP model towards smart cities by Shri Tusom Tusobi.
Boy, your time is 15 minutes.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is, once again, Tom Tsuboy. I'm working for the Nagoya Electric Works. And today is a pretty much honor to introduce the very unique PPP programs in India. So my presentation is company overview a little bit, and the current project overview, and ITS solutions, and the traffic visualizations. This is the most important things. And the new business model style. And finally, ITS challenge for towards the smart city. That is my presentation's contents. So let me introduce companies. Briefly, just one shot here is Nagoya Electric is a pretty much old, more than 60 years company in Japan. And we are now making for like a traffic information board, such as we call it the VMS, variable message sign, this system in Japan. So we have developing this kind of business, as well as you can see the yellow patrol cars. That's also a sign of also like signals That's also our company's products. So this is the current existing business at the moment. Our company now joined developing special purpose company in India. That is now going to the local company, and we are now working on this company. That is Zero Sum ITS. So this is just starting for 2014, that is back to the 2 years ago. And as you can see, this is some kind of products, which is showing about for the right-hand side for traffic conditions in the city. And the left-hand side showing some kind of the advertising, like the data advertising systems. That is, we are working on it. So anyway, this company, we joined to operate and maintenance, manage, and all these things is one solution for this. So current project, I think this is pretty much typical, the traffic condition in India. So lots of the losing time, as well as the unnecessity for fuel consumption, and also air pollution, and also problems in personal health, and also increasing accidents. Those things is happened already. So according to some Business Week, here's the 60 billion US dollars per year you lost. So that's a huge loss in the economy. So that's why we decided how to make it happen. And then this, at the moment, first we would like to some kind of locations is Gujarat states and Ahmedabad city. So we decided to the West Coast, pretty much new business, the main business people is coming, and in the morning very crowded. And so that's why first we take a chance to introduce about for like West Coast side and the Ahmedabad city. And here's current situations. Many people in the morning, and also many people in the afternoon, maybe going to back home, but it's pretty much congested in the center of the city. The reason why they so much crowded is one thing, is they don't have any accuracy or any current traffic conditions. So therefore, even if you're pretty much congested, they still sticking in sitting in the car. Just they lost the time and also boring. So that's why we provide some kind of IT solution like this. So here's a summary of our systems. One is the, of course, traffic cameras. That is counting and measurement for velocity, all kinds of things. As well as like a taxi right now is have some probing data. So we also collecting data from the taxi. And also, here in India, have a lot of people now smartphone. So smartphone is very good chance to getting to the people's moving. That kind of data is going to be traffic information. And now we are going to take this kind of sources into that creating for traffic conditions. But now you can see cloud. So that means we don't install very big master centers. Instead of this kind of big extensive one, we need just clouding systems. So that is very useful and very economical solution to them. Here's some kind of summaries about the total IT solutions. You can see left-hand side, many vehicles, data is coming, and then traffic of the data processing, that is also cloud and generating for traffic heavy condition, and then analysis to showing about a detour, some kind of route. This is the kind of concept. And here's the map of the Ahmedabad city. So as you can see, the red one is the cameras. And the blue one is the VMS big board. So I can show you about for this big board, like this. So each big board is introduce the traffic conditions, three-dimensional conditions to free or not. And also, important thing for this, as you can see, first shot, and also this is another shot, and the left-hand side is the digital signage. So we are now using for half of this board into some kind of commercial for industries. Then we can get this kind of commercial fee to the maintenance operating system for this. So it's kind of like a PPP business model, public-private partnership. So therefore, this is a useful and sustainable business. And the important things, we can see real traffic conditions like this, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night, and you can see this kind of the informations. And this is also interesting. So this is just showing about February and June timeframe, how much the traffic volume is going to change or not. So this kind of, we are now going to get visualization for this traffic. Here is some very basic characteristic. If you are familiar with traffic, maybe this is very important, the characteristics. So we can get this kind of information. New business here. Right now, we consider about for advertisements in some area or some states not allowed on the street. But now we can see this is a CSR activity, new policy in India. So as you can see, this kind of the companies have to pay or consume at least 2% of the profit. Then what we can do it? As you can see, this is not industry advertisement, like public advertisements. If you're driving a car, don't use a cell phone. If you ride a motorcycle, put on a helmet. Those things is kind of a very educational to message to them. So one thing is in the bottoms, one line. This information comes from blah, blah, this company. This is CSR activities. So you don't worry about for CSR activities. You just real money spent for it, and then good for the government, and good for the company, and also good for the residents. Though these PPP models is very good at to supporting for this Indias. Now, thank you very much for the Gujarat State's Ahmedabad city. Now they're asking us another expansions. First one is the blue areas. Now we got another riverfront project. So that is much bigger, and we have 7 boards and also 18 traffic cameras. So that is allowed us to much more reduce the traffic conditions and much more improvements of these cities. Now, final challenge is like this. We just started for a board and cameras. That's it. But now we have to consider the total system architectures, such as we now got the visualization of traffic conditions on the city. Now we can use it. But unfortunately, in India, so many vehicles, so many motorcycles. How to do it? One is multimodal system. In other words, public transportation have to be used. So how to use it? This is our next challenge futures. So you can see board and traffic signals, and also Japan, JICA teams, and also Japanese teams bring to some good technology to here. But the technology is technology. But if you don't use it, that is useless. So therefore, our company technology going to use this kind of informations and then provide to you through the smartphone which way to go. And then in that case, can I use my vehicles? No. Maybe bus or metro and take a taxi. That might be much faster and much help for your economies. So those things, information, we are trying to gathering together to introduce this. Finally, thank you for the Indian countries because this project is approved by Japan and India's collaborations, 5 years programs from next year. We now collaborating IIT Hyderabad. Thank you much for IIT Hyderabad. We would like to thank you, and there are a lot of the knowledge about for the data analysis, and we are pretty much good at for the technology itself. So once again, we are combined together and shaking hand to after the 5 years, maybe I hope definitely we can solve some kind of problems, and I look forward to supporting a smart city India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Suboi, for enlightening us about the integrated approach to traffic issues of smart cities and other related problems. By the way, I happen to be living in Ahmedabad, have always lived there. So I'll keenly look forward to the efficacy of the good measures that you have started. It'll be a pleasure to give you feedback on it as soon as we see something on the ground in the course of time, because these things take some time. Thank you very much. The next paper happens to be Urban Transport Corridors, Strategic Road Development Plan for Hyderabad City by Shri I. Ganapathy Reddy. Mr. Reddy has long experience in the road sector. He has served in various capacities in planning, formulation, construction, etc. He's been on important committees and SPD and CGM, and he's also an advisor member of a number of infrastructure bodies, and he has been associated with a number of major highway projects, including bridges. So, Mr. Gajapati Reddy, over to you for your paper.
To the dignitaries on the dais and the delegates who have come to this technical session. I would like to take the little time given to me